Hi guys, my name is Joshua and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, I'll be taking you on React.js, a front-end library of JavaScript. So in this video, I will teach you on the basics of React, and at the end of this tutorial, you will learn how to build this simple web page. So let's go straight in. So come to your command prompt, and I'm going to change directory my desktop. Yeah, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to create a new folder. So I'm going to make directory, and I will call the folder React.js course. Yeah, and that's nice. React.js course or React.js tutorial. Let's use tutorial. So this is the folder. So now we have to change directly from our desktop to the folder that we have created. So say cd React.js tutorial. Tutorial is not correct. Tutorial, press enter. Now we are in the folder, the directory React.js tutorial. So we are going to open this folder in our VS Code. So to do that, just type code space and dot enter. So it's going to open this folder for us in our VS Code. So I think that's all. So we wait while it does that for us. Alright, so we have the React.js tutorial folder already created and opened in our VS Code. So let's just do the needful. Yes, I trust the author to cancel that. So this is what we have here. This is what we have here. So what I'm going to do is, for you to be able to create a React app, first of all, let's look at what the meaning of React. What exactly is React? So React is a free and open source front-end JavaScript library for building user interface based on components. You can see very simply, the purpose of React is to build user interface that is based on components. So how do we create a React app? To create a React app template, traditionally, because there are other modern and faster way of creating a React app template using Git. But the traditional way of creating a React template, you need to type the following command in your computer terminal or in the terminal provided by VS Code. So all you just have to type is npx create React app, then the name of the folder that you want the app to be seated. So that's what we are going to do. So all we just have to do is to open our terminal in our VS Code. So we have it here. Creating the React app project traditionally usually takes time. It takes time. So in case you are trying to do that and notice that it's taking much of the time, just be patient, right? Alright, so now we have our terminal. So what we are going to do before we create the React app using the command line I showed you, first of all, I want to show you something. Come to your file manager or your file explorer. Inside your, let's enlarge it. Inside your file explorer, you will see, let's click on local disk. So this is for window users right now. Or if you are using Mac, you can go and make research on that. But for window users, I think this particular process also applies to Mac too as well. So in this local disk, click on users, then you have these two folders. For Windows users, it might be HP, it might be user, but I have my name here. So I'll click on it. So now you can see that the path has been provided. You can see this PC, local, disk, the user, and what Joshua. So I'll just click on this part here, this section here. I'll click on it. So it's going to bring out the path for me. The path. So all I just have to do is to type backslash and look for app data. I want to look for app data. I press enter. So it's going to bring all the files or folder that is inside of app data. So what I'm interested in is roaming. So I click on roaming. Notice that I have an npm folder in the roaming folder. But if you don't have that, if you don't have an npm folder in the roaming folder, all you just have to do is to click on new file, then you create the npm folder. You don't have to put anything inside of it. You just have an npm folder, empty npm folder inside of this roaming folder. So just create it. I have my own created, so I don't need to create it again. So I think that's all. So after that, then you can proceed to type npx then space create react app. And the name of the folder, we are going to give it react tutorial 1. Yes, react tutorial, or let's make it short, react tut 1. So press enter. So this is going to take a lot of time, so I'm just going to pause the video. So when it's done creating all the dependencies and all the packages that we are going to be needing, then I can zoom the video, the recording. So can you see it's creating a new React app inside of this folder. So you can see React Tutorial. So it's installing all the packages. So and it says that this might take a couple of minutes. So it's installing React package, React DOM package, React script. So this is prior template. So prior simply means create React app template. So it's creating all of these templates. It's creating the packages, the dependencies that we need for our React app. So like I said, it's going to take a couple of minutes. So come back after it's finally we finally created a new React app. Alright guys, our React app has been created. So here is our React app. So these are all the dependencies, the packages that were installed while we type the command line, the command npx create React app. So now, before we continue, you can see the directory we are in React.js tutorial. But we need to change the directory from React.js tutorial to React Tut 1. Alright, so we are going to change the directory from React.js tutorial to React Tut 1. So we already have a suggestion here. Please pay attention to this suggestion. It says we suggest that you begin by typing. So you have to begin by typing cd. Cd simply means change directory. So change the directory from the React.js tutorial to React Tut 1. So we are going to say cd React Tut 1 and press enter. So it will change the directory to this. So after that, then we are going to then type npm start. So this will help us to start the development server. It will help us to start the development server. It's also going to take a bit of time, maybe a few seconds or a minute or so. So let's wait. So it's starting the development server. Can you see? Starting the development server. Starting the development server. Alright, so we have successfully started the development server, and it is starting on this localhost port 3000. Localhost port 3000, you can click on it and it will take you to it will open the React app for you. But I already have it here. Can you see React app? So this is our first React app. So now let us I don't think I need it. Let me add it. So let us go over the files and the folders that was created by React. So let's go over all of these files. So here, so let's see, create React app folders, file structure explanation. So we are going to start with this node module. What exactly is node module, and what are the things, all these files or folders that are inside of this node module? You can see tons and tons of folder inside of this node module. So you can see tons and tons of folder. What exactly is the node module? So if you come here, it says that node module, think of node module as a big box that is full of tools or dependencies or packages that are needed for an initial working React app. So all of these folders or tools or dependencies that you have here, so our React app depends on all of these. So we need all of these for our React app to work. So these are dependencies, these are tools that is needed for us to be able to create a React app. So these are the tools that are needed. So that's the essence of node module. Then the next one I want us to look at is see that I think is the git ignore file. So what exactly is the git ignore file? The git ignore file, this file tells Git which files and folder should be ignored. It tells you which files and folders are to be ignored and not tracked when you commit changes to your repository. So let us look at the zip file. So here, the git ignore. Let's see that. So these are the files that will not be tracked. Can you see? We have the node module. The node module is a very big file. We can't put that into our repository. Rather, we ignore it. So these are the files that we'll ignore when committing changes to our repository. And if the node modules folder is ignored, and probably another developer then gets the zip file of this folder, for him to be able to continue or work with the React folder, all he just have to do is to type npm install. So it's going to install all the dependencies that is needed for this website to work, for this React application to work. Then the next one we have here is the package log JSON file. What exactly is package log JSON file? This file is auto-generated by npm. What is the meaning of npm? npm simply means node package manager. When you run npm install command, it provides a detailed, so package log JSON file provides a detailed and platform independent description of the exact package versions installed in your project. This file is crucial for ensuring that all developers use the exact version of the package. So in essence, it actually helps us to track the version of the packages that we are working with. So it prevents version mismatch and consistency across installations or across different installations. So let us look at the package log JSON. So these are all the packages and dependencies that our React app depends on. So it's telling us, it's giving us the version of each of these dependencies. So that's the essence of log.json. It gives us the version. So probably if another developer is working on it, it will be working on this exact version, because the package log.json actually logs the version of our packages. You get it now. So that's that. And while package JSON file, this file contains various meta tags that is relevant to our project. It specifies the dependencies being used in the project, which help npm start up same environment on different machines for our project. So that's that. And let us look at the public folder. What exactly is the public folder? The public folder, it is the root folder that gets served up as our React app. So let us look at what is inside of the public folder. We have the 5 icons, the favicons, we have the index.html, the logo image, and many other things. So if you can see this icon here, this is the favicon, and you can see the logo, the image of the logo image, and other things too. But what we are going to do, I don't need this actually, so I'm going to delete them. There are some things that I feel that are not really important here, so I'm going to delete them. I'm going to delete robot.txt, manifest. I'm going to delete these images. I'm also going to delete this favicon. I'm going to delete those ones. So I will be left with what? Index.html. I'll be left with index.html. Alright, so in the index.html, what do we have? Now, the index.html, this is the main HTML file that serves as the entry point to your React app. So it is the main HTML file that serves as the entry point for our React app. It contains the root element. It contains the root element where our React component will be rendered. Let's take a look at the index.html. Now this index.html contains this root. So I need to delete some of the things that are commented here. I don't need them. I don't need some of the things commented here. So what is this one? I need this. So I think that's also all. I think I don't need this manifest too. So I've deleted this. Let me just pick it. So now this is what we have. You can see this div, and the div is having an ID of root. Here it says that that the div is where it has an ID of root. This is where our React component will be rendered. And let's look at source folder. In Cplex form is our React app folder containing components, text, and CSS file. So here in the root folder, the root element is where our React component will be rendered, and the source folder is simply our React app folder. So if you come here and look at the source, so this source is our React app folder. This is what we are going to this is what our the root inside of the HTML is going to render. So, and in the source folder, it consists of components, text, and CSS file. So you see, you have components like app.js, index.js, all of these. But I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to delete this test, set of text. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. I'm just going to delete them. I'm also going to delete app.js and app.css, but let me just show you something. Let me delete this part here. Alright, so this is what we have. So let's look at the app.js. What exactly is app.js? So this is the main component. I told that the source folder is our React folder that is containing component, text, and CSS file. So I've deleted some file in the source folder and we are left with HTML, index.js and index.css, app.js and app.css. So here, app.js is the main component, and it serves as the entry point to our application. It serves as the entry point to our application. So it wraps all the other components, that means the child components or the children components. It wraps them inside. It wraps other components, and we can call it as that's a typo. We can call it as the parent component of all the components in your React.js. Let's take, for example, you have a website and the website are made up of parts, are made up of several components. Let's say the header component, the sidebar component, the footer component, some sections of the website that we can also regard as a component. So all of these components, we can wrap them into the app.js. So the app.js will now serve as the main component, or like the parent component that is holding all of these other components. So you get it now. So that's it. Then the next one is app.css. The app.css, it is a style sheet that contains CSS rules specifically applied to the main component. So the CSS rule only applies to the main component. It only applies to the main component. So let us look at it. Let's look at app.js. Let's look at app.js. So this is app.js. So these are all the things that see in app.js, and this is also app.css. This is the CSS file for the app component. Then the next one is the index.js. It is the crucial entry point into your React app. It contains the root component app.js. So even the app.js that is serving as the main component is inside of index.js. It is inside of what? Index.js. So this is the entry point into your React app. So the entry point into our React app is what? The index.js. And the index.css, this is the global style sheet that affects the entire application. The app.css file is only for app.js component, while index.css file serve as what? The global style sheet, and the CSS rule written in index.css will affect all files in our React app. It will affect all files in our React app, and it is mostly used to reset, and it contains resetting and font family of the React app. So let us look at it. Let us look at index.js. Can you see what we have here? So now we are wrapping the app.js inside of this. So the app.js is contained inside of index.js. So I don't think I need this. I think I've deleted the default wrap writer. I don't think I need this, and I also don't think I need this one. So let me see. Now what I want to do is, I'm not interested in app.css or app.js because since it's the main component, but I want to create my own component inside of the index.js since it's serving as the main entry point for our React application. So I don't need this. So I'm just okay. Let's look at index.css and let's see what we have. Like I said, it involves what? The font family and the reset. So we are going to keep this, but I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. The app.js. Delete this. Alright, so let's move on. So we are left with index.css and index.js. So let's first of all start this from scratch. Figure it now. Let's start from scratch. So let's start everything from scratch. So now, having explained to some extent they create React app folder and file structure. Let us look at React component. What exactly is React component? Now, if you look at this HTML element that we have here, this is a particular section of a website, and we can make it as a component. We can make it as what? A component. So you have this. So this markup represents this article, its heading, and an abbreviated table of contents on ordered list. So React lets you to combine your markup, CSS, and JavaScript into custom components. So React actually allows us to combine our markup. So it's talking about the HTML element, then the CSS and JavaScript into custom components that can be reusable, or that can serve as reusable UI element for our app. So the table of contents code, the table of content code that we have here can be turned into this table of contents in a tag like this component. You could render on every page. So under the hood, it still uses the same HTML tags like article and h1. So what is components? So components lets us split the UI into independent reusable code block which divides the UI into smaller pieces. So let me show you an example. Of course, we are going to get error because there are some things that we need to alter here. So let me show you something. Now, take a look at this website. This is the home page, and this is what you can find in the home page. All of this is the home page. And if you click on the about page, you will notice that they are similar. The hero section is similar. Even this section is similar to the home page. You have this same section inside of the home page, and also you have this also inside of the home page, and also this inside of the home page. All of this inside of the home page. The same thing too for service. You can see the pattern. You have this hero section in the home page and in the about page. So you can just combine this. You can just make this as an independent component. You can make it a component. You can make this a component. Let's say, for example, anytime if I click on home, I will still see the header. If I click on about, I will see the header and the footer. So it can be, we can use that as a component, whereby we can have the header component and the the footer component. Because if you follow the traditional way of building website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, that means we are going to be creating header section and footer section for every of the web page that you write, that you create in your HTML. You have to be doing that. But once you're already in React helps you to put all of this inside of a component, like a part of the website. So the component will serve as a part of the website. So you can have the header component, you can have the footer component, like this hero component that looks alike. You can also have that. Then once you combine them together, or you piece these components together, then you can have a fully fledged website. So that's the essence of components. So now it says here that components allows us to split UI into independent reusable code block which divides the UI into smaller pieces. So there are two types of components. We have the class component and we have the functional component. But the class component is the whole way of creating React component, but of course it's still in use. But I'm going to be showing you the functional component. So the functional component is like a normal JavaScript function that receives an input and returns an output. It's as simple as that. It receives an input that also returns an output. So it's similar to JavaScript object. JavaScript function. You get it now? It's similar to JavaScript function. So let us look at how can we render React components. Let us look at how we can render React components, because after creating the React component, and I said React component contains the UI of our website. So how do we now render the React component or the React element that we have created? So here it says that elements are the smallest building blocks of React app. An element describes what you want to see on the screen. So before we dive into rendering components, let's briefly discuss what React DOM is and why it is essential when working with React. So React DOM is a package that provides DOM specific methods to manage React components. It allows you to manipulate the DOM, that means document object model of your web page, and render React component efficiently. In other words, React DOM acts as a bridge between React component and the actual DOM element that makes up a web page. So for us to be able to render our React component, we need to have a good understanding of React DOM. So our component that we are going to display in our user interface, it has to be rendered from the root of our HTML. So here we already have So first of all, before we even start rendering, now that we already know what React DOM does, so it helps us to be able to use DOM methods. So first of all, there are some things we need to import from the React library. So we can say import. First of all, we need to import React. We need to import React from React like this. Then the next one is to import. The next one is to import React DOM from React DOM /clients. This. Then afterwards, I think I need to hold on. I need to remove this git stuff here. So let me create alright, so we have this. So let's just change the directory to the folder we are currently working on, suite 1, because this is a git folder. Can you see? This is a git project. So what we are going to do is to remove uninitialize the git. So what we are going to do is going to be rm, if I still remember, rm-rf, then .git. Press enter. So yeah, so you can't see all of this again, the name and all those things. So let's just clear this and go back to what we are doing. So the next thing is, let us look at this index.html. So this is where we serve our React app. So we serve our React app from this div, because that's what we have here from the explanation in index.html. It says this is the main HTML part that serves as the entry point to your React app. So the root div is where our React component will be rendered. So for us to be able to render our React component, that div is very, very, very important. So for us to be able to render that, we need to create a root. We need to create a root from the React tool. So it's going to be React. That's going to be React DOM.create root. So to create it, so we have to select this element that we have there. To select that, since it's an ID, so we'll say document.get element by ID. So what I will select is the root. So this has been done already. This usually comes with the React folder and all that once you create a React app. So I'm just deleting it and doing it all again so I can get accustomed to it. So this is what we have there. So we are going to save all of this. We are going to pass this into or save it into this variable called root. So now that we have it in this, so we say root So we want to render the components. So say root dot render. So what are we rendering? We are rendering the component. So now that since we've not created the component yet, so let's just do something. Let's just say const my name. So let's just store this HTML. Let's call it my name is Joshua. If you save this now and you pass it here as my name and you save, let's see what we are going to get. Can you see my name is what? Joshua. My name is Joshua. So that is that. But of course, this is not what we actually want to do. So let us create a component. So to create a component, I told you that we are going to be working with what? Functional component. So, and I told you that it works like JavaScript function. You know, we have three basic JavaScript functions such as arrow function, function expression, and function declaration. So you can use any of these functions to create a React component. So the React component consists of your UI and your logic. It consists of your UI and your logic. So you can have in your component both the UI and the logic. Unlike the traditional way of creating website, whereby you have your HTML code in one file, in an HTML file, you have your CSS in another file, then you have your JavaScript code or the logic in the JavaScript file. No, it is not done like that in React. So with React, we can have both the HTML file, that's the markup, the UI, and the logic in the component. So let's say, for example, you are creating a logic for a component of accordion. So the accordion component will consist of the UI and also the logic of the accordion. So also an image slider and all this like that. So the component is a combination of the logic and the UI. So to create a component, let's say for example, I want to create a functional component using function declaration. So I can say function. Now to create a component, ensure that the name of the function is capitalized. Ensure that is what it is capitalized, because if it is not capitalized, JavaScript is going to see it as an inbuilt component. It's going to see it as an inbuilt component. So whenever you are creating a functional component, ensure that the name of the function is what capitalized. So in this case, I'm going to write first component. So that first F is going to be capitalized, then component. So this, what do you call it? React will recognize this as a custom component, not an inbuilt component. So what do I want to return from this component? Let's say I want to return, so I'll say return, I want to return a GXS. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to explain GXS to you, but let's say I want to return an H1 that says my first component, in React. Save. So now you need to render this inside of, you need to pass this as an argument inside of this render function here. So here, you don't do it like this. You don't do it like this. This is wrong, because it is what a React component. You don't pass it like this. When you are rendering a React component, you have to put it inside of what a tag. It has to be in a self-closing tag. You have to pass that in a self-closing tag. So this is it here. Then first component like this. So this is a self-closing tag. So with this, let's see what we have here. Can you see my first component? What in React? Very simple. So now let us look at JSX. What exactly is what? JSX. So writing markup with what? JSX. JSX is a syntax extension to JavaScript. It is recommended in React to describe what the UI should look like. So it allows us to write HTML inside of JavaScript file, keeping rendering logic and content in the same file. Just like I said, that the React component helps us to be able to combine logic and the UI. So here it says it allows us to write HTML inside of JavaScript file or inside of a React. It allows us to write HTML inside of React. So what you see here is not an HTML code. This is what JSX. This is what JSX. So we are returning a JSX. So it's not an HTML. It is what JSX. So let us look at some of the rules of JSX. So here it says there are few rules to keep in mind while working with JSX. So like JSX includes JavaScript extension, JavaScript XML, JavaScript XML. So it allows us to be able to write JavaScript, even CSS, and also HTML as well. So a React component name must be what capitalized. This is one of the first rules that you should understand and keep in your mind when writing React and building React website. A React component name must be capitalized. Component names that do not begin with a capital letter are treated like inbuilt components, such as this H1. You can see H1, H is not capitalized. So all these H1 like div and all those things, they are seen as what inbuilt component. So let's say, for example, aside from my first component, let's say, let me change this first component. Okay, let me stick with it. Let's say I want to change this to my name. I want to write more elements. But I say my name is Joshua. Then here I want to have another component. I want to have another JSX. So like I want to have another element. So I'll say I'm a full stack. Okay. Sorry about that. I need that auto. Full stack. Developer. Code CM5 CSS 3 JavaScript, React, and many more. And I have something like a tag that says this is my YouTube tutorial. So YouTube tutorial for web development course. Or visit my YouTube tutorial to learn web development. Alright, so then I will probably click the link to for that and just pass click and like yep. So I can pass the insert here and so do that. Now can you see that I'm already having error here? Lots of error. But over on it, can you see what it's telling me? Unreachable code detected. Unreachable code, meaning that it says JSX expression must have one parent element. So you know that in JavaScript, normal JavaScript, when you use return, anything that is under the return statement will not be detected. But in this case, it's giving us this spaghetti lines or whatever. So here it's saying that this is not allowed in React. You cannot return multiple elements like this. If you want to return multiple elements, you have to put them inside of a parent element. So let's look at the second rule. It says JSX allows you to return only one element from a given component. JSX allows you to return one element from a given component. This is known as a parent element. So it says that if you want to return multiple HTML elements, simply wrap all of them inside a single div or a React fragment or any of the semantic tag. So in order to, let's follow what we have been told. So to render these multiple elements here, I'm just going to put them inside of a parent div. It can be put them inside of a parent container. It could be div, it could be section, it could be article, it could be any of the semantic tags, it could be a React fragment. So we are going to look at React fragments much later actually. So save this. I'll do this. Save. You say, so can you see you don't have that error anymore. There's no error there. You don't have that error anymore. So if you save now, look at what we have there. Can you see? Hold on. I can see. Let's take this out. Yeah. Let's save again. And yeah, look at what we have. Can you see? My name is Joshua. I'm a full stack web developer. I code in So this is my YouTube tutorial. If I click on this now, it's going to take me to my YouTube tutorial. Can you see that? Alright, good. So I can even do something like this. The targets. Yeah. So see. So I'm going to open this in new browser window. So if you have not subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, as you watch this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video and comment. Please
and start anything in the HTML.
Right. So please take out time, just subscribe, click on the subscribe button below, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and comment. Alright, let's move on. Alright, so I want to explain that we're also going to look at how we can write CSS in JSX and also JavaScript too as well. So this is our first component. So we can also have nested component as well. We can have nested components. So let's say for example, I want to have all of this. So now notice in this div here, that's serving as the parent folder, the parent element where we have all of these multiple elements. So we inspect this, and we go to elements up here. You can see so you can see all the component is inside of this root elements here. Can you see this div that has the root, the id root, and inside of it we have what the div. This div that is inside the div that we put our multiple elements into. So when we click on the div, then let's see. Click on the div, look at what we have. So all of this. But in the case whereby you don't want to have a parent folder, like you don't want to add extra node to our React app, you don't want to add extra node. All you just want is this h1, the p tag, and this other p tag. You don't want any extra node. You don't want the div. So here it says that we can also return React fragment. So React fragment actually helps you not to add extra node to your it helps you not to add extra node when rendering your component. It helps not to add extra node to your component. So though the React fragment is still going to serve as a parent element where you can have all these multiple elements wrapped in, but it's not going to add any extra node to it. So you can either use it or so instead of having div like this, I'm just going to delete the div. I'm going to react.fragment like this. So it's going to appear. It is an extension I'm using. That's why this, as I'm changing or updating it in the opening tag is also being updated in the closing tag. So if I save now notice if I click on this list, notice you can't find any extra tag there, extra name there. You can't find any extra name there. So you can either do it like this, or you can remove the React fragment, or probably just install the React fragment. You can install by doing something like this. Fragment. Instead of doing React or fragments, just do this fragment. Do fragments, you still get the same result. And also, if you don't want this, all you just have to do is just remove the fragment and leave it like this. Leave it like this, it's still going to work. So you don't need this. I think that's that. Save on here and see it's still going to work. So let's move on. Let's look at nested component. How can we nest component into another component? To do that, let's put this let's have all of this h1 and all other elements inside of a separate tag. Separate component. So I can see when we use our function my name equals okay, it's a component of my name. So here I'm going to return this. Let's copy this. Cut it and paste it. Then here now comes my name. Let's return this. Return this paragraph, cut it and paste it. So we are trying to use all of this inside of this parent component. The next one is to copy this paragraph, cut it and paste the component for that separate component for the paragraph. The const. Let's leave my YouTube so we have my little view, my skills, and my name. So here, this is what we are going to do. We are going to now call this inside of React. So for us to be able to nest it inside of the first this component. All we just have to do the usual way. Put that inside of the component the tag. So that's going to be my name. Of course, see. Can you see that if I only see my name, but that's what we pass into the current component that we render here. So even though I have my name, if I have my name several times, if I clear number of times that I nest it there. So you can see my name and names are very 3 times. Can you see that? Just but that's what I want to do. I want to also nest my skill. This I just want to test my YouTube. This is save. Now I can say we have nested the child component. So all of this now they are child component. This is child component that we are nesting into display component. So you see, now we are back to this. Okay, so that's all. So the next thing I want us to look at, let's continue. So let's see if we will be able to do this. Let's see if we will be able to do this. Let's go. So All right. You know what? I'm going to do another video that's going to capture, I'm going to capture this project. Another video that next video I'm going to do is going I'm going to cover props, I'm going to cover how to write inline CSS, I'm going to cover how to use map over an array of data. So we are going to look at how to use images both in the public folder and also having it as a folder in the source folder. So we are going to look at that. So until then, enjoy this video and please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Alright, bye guys.